7:02, we're going to start the meeting today for July 14th, 2026. Can you do roll call?
Eric.
Here.
Cheryl. Here. Frank.
Here.
Oscar.
Yes.
All right. The next item on our agenda is approval of tonight's agenda. Are there any corrections, additions, or amendments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I so move.
Second. Motion by Oscar, second by Frank. Do I have to say?
All in favor?
Yes.
All in favor, yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just one.
Motion carries 3-0. Do I have to vote?
That's
You'll
what I
have to
asked.
vote. You'll have to vote, yeah.
And then the quorum.
Thank you, Everett. 4-0.
That's good, they're just not talking on the speaker. Make sure I'm talking to
There,
your.
okay, no.
All right, the motion has been moved by Oscar and seconded by Frank to approve tonight's agenda as presented. Any comments or corrections? All right, hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll move on to item number 4, approval of minutes. The minutes of our regular meeting held on June 9th, 2026 have been distributed in your packet. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes?
None that stand out for me.
And I entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Frank and second by Cheryl to approve the minutes of the June 9th, 2026 regular meeting. Any comments or corrections from the commission?
I just did that.
Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Yeah, I'm going with you.
Motion carries 4-0. This is the time set aside for public forum. If there's anyone present who wishes to address the commission on an issue, please step forward.
I don't have anything.
All right.
Need a pen? Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, we don't have anyone for public forum or communications. Moving on to item 6, is there any new business to bring forward to the planning commission at this time? Items 7, 8, and 9, we have no new public hearings, plats, or final plats scheduled for the agenda. So we'll proceed with unfinished business. All right, item 10A is a discussion regarding our ongoing review of the Kechi 2040 comprehensive plan, Kechi zoning regulations, and Kechi subdivision regulations. I will now hand the floor to zoning administrator Justin Bell to introduce the proposed revisions for administrative adjustments, highway corridor signage, and the planned development overlay district.
Yes, thank you. I had PEC look over the comprehensive plan recently. They feel like everything in that is good to go, so we should just keep on keeping on with that one. For the zoning regulations, the first one here is the administrative adjustments. As discussed earlier this year, Hayesville, Derby, and Bel Air all have administrative adjustments. I know their size isn't comparable to ours, but it seems to be an industry standard that we can look at for adoption on our own. And before I forget, tonight is just supposed to be a vote on whether to have a public hearing. When we want to have that public hearing, if we want to say September or even try for August. I don't think we can get August just because of the dates. We need the at least 20 days notice in the Ark Valley News before we can actually have that public hearing. So the earliest we can have it is September. If you guys want to push it back to October or even November, I'm good with that either way as well. But looking at for the proposed amendment to the Kechi zoning regulations, added into 14.6E, administrative adjustments. We're looking at just having myself and the city administrator be able to look at an application if somebody wants to increase the size of a lot by reducing the minimum size of a lot width or depth or any setback by 20%, increasing maximum lot coverage by up to 20%, adjusting height requirements by 20%, reducing off-street parking and loading requirements by 25%, increasing maximum sign regulations by up to 10%, increasing the permitted height of a fence located within a setback to a maximum of 8 feet in height, increasing the size of an accessory structure by up to 10%. Conditions for approval, there are may require conditions for approval of an administrative adjustment, including but not limited to time limits, access, screenings, landscaping, drainage, all the other requirements that you would find in another conditional use or request. Does anyone have any changes or additions to it or anything?
So my question is, if we give you all of this, then why do you need us?
Because there's things that are going to be beyond what these minimum requirements are, like.
So why not just leave it the way it is and we'll keep going?
For example, a fence that goes up to 8 feet, high winds come over, knock your fence down, you've got a dog or two that needs to go out, you need to get a fence now. You don't want to wait for 60 to 90 days for permission to put up an 8-foot fence. Because if you have 6 foot and you now want an 8 foot, you have to do a conditional use. People don't want to wait for that. They want to get that fence and get it up.
Well, if they want an 8 foot, then they need to do the due diligence to get the 8 foot.
Yes, but
if you have an 8 foot and it blows over, you can put an 8 foot back up.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There aren't too many 8 foots in the city, though.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm just asking. I mean,
Right. I may not be following along with what you're asking.
I mean,
I
even
think
like
he's drawn a distinction between a new installation and repair.
Right. Okay. A repair, it can go back up.
yes.
Yes. A new installation, somebody wants a fence. I know, for example, Karen Anderson behind Old School Tap House, she wanted to put up an 8-foot fence. I told her she'd have to do a conditional use and it would take some time. She said, "Nuh-uh, I'm putting it up now." And she went with just a 6 foot, even though she wanted an 8 foot.
And I understand that, but we have all these rules and regulations in place for a reason.
Yes.
Okay? And when we go to changing all this, I'm not worried about you, but I'm worried about the next guy that comes in and takes over your job.
Okay.
And the next person, and the next person.
yeah, who's to say that you wouldn't, we would go ahead with this and then next year, well, then we want another 10% and another 20% and another, I'm with Oscar. I don't understand why we're doing this.
Okay. The idea of something increasing in adjustments the following year, kind of like a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Okay. That is a logical fallacy there's no evidence to support that fact that we would increase more next year or make that request next year. So there's no correlation that supports that, oh, since we did it this year, we got to do it next year.
So why do it at all? Why, I don't get it, besides the fact that Bel Air and Hayesville and, so it's the same thing, right? If they go off a cliff, are we gonna go off the cliff? No, we're not, right? So, it's just like they put up apartments, they do all this kind of stuff and all of that, but we're not going to do that. So why, I don't understand, why do this? There's no reasoning behind it for me. I can't.
To speed things up for the residents that need these adjustments or want these adjustments.
I think these adjustments need to be looked at.
But if they're so minor and they would be approved anyways,
I don't see that 25% reducing off-street parking and loading requirements by up to 25% is a minimum.
okay.
I think that's definitely something that especially for a small town, we need to look at it.
Okay.
Would you be comfortable with a lower threshold in any of these, as outlined here? Like, is there a compromise? And back to the question of going year after year and trying to increase, that still has to come, that would have to be in the form of another amendment, correct?
Oh,
That we would
absolutely.
have to vote on,
Yeah.
and that we would have to agree, and then council would have to approve that too, right?
Yes.
So
and
there's
they
the
would know,
process.
oh, last year we already made this adjustment for the zoning regulations.
Right.
We shouldn't be doing it again.
Well, maybe not every year, but like every 3 or 4 years, 5 years or something like that, we need to go for another 10%, another 20%. I mean, fine.
Again, there's no evidence to support that would happen.
I was kind of curious, does it generate paper trail so they, sometime when you're gone years later and whatever the structure is, and they want to say repair it, and they say that violates the ordinance, but when they went in, it came in under this. Was it a paper trail they can go back to? What, lose you?
Say that again. I think I'm almost picking up what you're putting down, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, let's just say, stick with your fence example.
Okay.
Somebody puts up a fence that exceeds our standard height. And years go by, something happens to the fence, they want to put up another fence. And now there's another person sitting here and he comes in and says, no, you can't do that. Do they have a document that says, yeah, I can? Because it'd be grandfathered in by then.
Right.
Documentation, it would be a part of history that could be researched and looked back on.
Right. So when these would be created for these administrative adjustments, they would be created as a case just like anything else and documented on our server. I have every year broken up into a different file, and then within that file, I have every case type that we've had, BZAs, which would be variances. We would have the conditional uses, zoning, subdivisions, things of that nature. And an administrative adjustment like that for a fence, I would file that under a conditional use because that's what it used to be. So it would probably be renamed as something like CU-AA for a conditional use administrative adjustment when it comes to example, the fence. So we could go back and look. I can go back 2006. I can go back pretty far and find cases. They're not pretty to look at, but I can find them.
And they have building permits that would be attached to that.
Building permits, yes.
Okay. So happens had a pretty closely related discussion with a friend of mine last Saturday. He used to be head of an HOA and he had previously been running for use and he kind of tightened up regulations on it. But he was getting into trouble where, John over here did something different from their HOA rules, and now Fred down the street said, well, I want to do that too. He got by with it. Why can't I? And how do we handle something like that?
Case by case, but a lot of the times HOAs manage their own.
Oh, no, I just use
Issues.
that as how things
Okay.
can add on. I mean, just
Yeah.
an example. It just so happened we had that conversation just a few days ago.
Fair enough.
Also on 2C, it says adjusting height requirements by 20%, the height of what?
Buildings.
Okay, we'll need to put that in there.
Okay.
2C. And I'm looking, and it looks like we've kind of, except for the sign regulations, but the rest of them, it looks like we're taking the highest number. So like, reducing the minimum lot size with the setbacks by up to 20%. Well, Hayesville is doing like 10%. Increasing the maximum lot size, lot coverage by up to 20%. Here again, there was another one that was 20% was the maximum on each one of those. So we're taking the maximum of all the towns. Yeah, reducing the off-street parking, yeah, I think that's really high. And, because that's a quarter. I don't have any problem at all with the 8-foot fence. So, but maybe it might depend on where it's at. So if we say this is, height of the fence located within a setback to a maximum of 8 feet in height, maybe there's some of them that shouldn't be 8 feet. And if we do this, then, it just doesn't give us an opportunity to even look at it, so, I don't know.
A couple of thoughts that I have for discussion is I'm all for streamlining the efficiency in the example that you mentioned of not having to wait 30, 60, 90 days to go in front of us for a adjustment. I also just worry we lose a sense of transparency. A couple of thoughts could be that if someone is trying to get a variance and through an administrative adjustment, that they need to seek approval from their neighbors or surrounding properties. Once they have approval, then I think the administrative adjustment could go forward. That's just one thought. And if it doesn't, if the neighbors don't sign off on it, then it would come to the commission to be reviewed and approved. And then the other thought too is, if we are doing these administrative adjustments and they're approved, all administrative adjustments should still be reported back to the commission here for review, because at any point we feel as though those are not applicable or that's not being handled properly, we can always put an amendment back in that says,
But once you get it to them, you'll never get it back. That's the
Way of life.
It is, as a matter of fact, it can only go up.
no, I'm saying we can propose an amendment back here and say, no, we're no longer doing administrative adjustments.
No.
Are you saying that that wouldn't be approved by the council? Because we would have approved it, right?
Once you give it to them, you've lost total control. They're gonna run with it, and they can do whatever they want to do. Now, I'm not saying these guys shouldn't, but what I'm saying is we've had a large turnover ever since I've been on the planning commission. And each person comes on, it's head of the city. They want a little bit more, a little bit more, and a little bit more. Because they don't want to have to come in here and ask for permission. There's been several things that's happened. And they've swept it under the rug and they've done all that stuff. I mean, if you guys want to turn it over to them, go right ahead. But
I'm not saying either way, but could you help me understand how we can't take it back?
they're not gonna allow you.
I think it's just gonna be, it's gonna be an uphill battle.
It's gonna be an uphill battle. If you ever give it away, to take anything back, it's gonna be a fight.
Wouldn't we just put this on our agenda and say that we're voting and we're removing this amendment of the zoning rules?
Are they gonna do that?
It's our zoning rules that we are approving.
But,
And then it,
five years from now, we might all be gone.
sure.
That's the whole deal. That's why it's been done the way it's been done for years, is because of the turnover. That's why you keep it right there. That's why everything has been set the way it's been set. Now, if we want to make adjustments, that's fine. And everybody knows that if they want to do something different, they have to go through the chain of command to get it done. And I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to speed it up because it's a pain in the butt. But if somebody really wants to get it done, no different than the guy up here that built all that stuff young, he kept coming, trying to get it all done the way he wanted it done. Now it's done really nice, everything put to a T. That's what we want. Do you want to be like Park City or any of them other little towns? Shit's just going up everywhere and everybody's like, what's going on? I mean, that's up to you guys.
And I appreciate that.
But once you give them that authority, you're not going to get it back. If that's the case, we need to go back in the zoning book and make everything bigger.
Well, that's what I'm saying here, and I understand what you're saying, Dustin, but, the counter to that is, well, hey, you did it 3 years ago. You know, we raised it 10% 3 years ago. It's a big deal. Let's raise it another 10%.
I hear what you're saying. I do. For as long as I've been here, I've never had someone ask for a building to be bigger. That had to have we have had a few, like oversized garages or workshops, things of that nature. But those have been way over the 20% that people are asking for. There have been a few where they've been really close, and I think that 20% would have sped things up for them. But they're not in every month, 2 or 3 times a month type of thing, where we would look at, oh, well, we did it 10% last time, let's do another, 10%. So I don't see it being a problem. These things, I've never had someone ask for reducing the minimum lot size. Now, during the planning process of someone, that could become a thing. But if they're gonna reduce, half of them, I think that needs to go through planning commission and city council as well. Now, if it's for one to make a particular lot fit within a certain zoning district on a plat, I don't see the harm in that myself. It's one lot. Now, like I said, if it's half of them, then we have an issue.
Okay, but that is not stated in here.
Nope, it doesn't.
Okay,
And if you're not
Okay.
getting the request to do this, then let's just leave it.
we can do that. I would still like to vote on it and go about the whole process that way. That's fine too. That this part here can be denied by you guys. That's totally fine.
I think I agree with you. I think the percentage is pretty high. 25%
Yeah,
is a pretty good sized chunk.
Yeah, that's a quarter.
Yeah.
Maybe if you had a bigger city with, a real need, but. And. Especially the especially the off-street parking part, is we've had, that's kind of a sore spot with people in Kechi
It is.
because of the parking issue that we were talking about when we were talking about the drive-through next to there at 61st and Oliver. The whole parking issue, and we don't want to encourage this.
So before we discuss and put this up for a vote in either September, October, November, are you wanting us to review this and for us to discuss a version of this, if there is a version of this to go forward? Or are you looking for us to go through each one of these conditions or points and to provide you with a draft on what we would approve?
These are the drafts that,
These are your recommendations.
yes, they were put together by PECR engineering consultants, and they look good. The Cheryl pointed out that it needs to be stated on 2C that height requirements of buildings by 20%. That's fantastic. I can add that in there, and we can, when that goes to the paper, that'll be adjusted. So it's more of looking at all of these as a whole, saying, are there any other word adjustments that need to be done? And then we have the vote whenever we have the vote for each proposed amendment. So the administrative amendment, deny. Okay. The next one, the signs or the highway corridor signage, approve or deny that one. And then the other one, the PDO. And the PDO is a new one we haven't discussed before, and I'll go over that one when we get there.
I just have a feeling from up here that this probably would not move forward in its current status. So either we need to provide recommendations, probably to counter what has been suggested or recommended here.
Sure.
And maybe go through each one. I don't know if that's what you would like us to do this evening, or if that's something that we still have more discussion on.
We can have more discussion on it at another time. You guys have had each of these first two ones for a couple months now.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you have any suggestions right now to add to it. That would be great. But if we need to hold off for another meeting, we can do that as well.
Well, I think what we would, if there was, what am I trying to say? If I think that we would have to, like you put it, if there was a chance for us to pass this one, that we would have to talk about these percentages. And we would have to talk about like the possibility of taking item D off the table and scratching through that one.
Are we prepared to go through each one of these today, or do we need to do some more homework on that and come back with some either crossing them out or making different threshold, or
Well, another option is we move forward with how things are written. And again, each vote will be for that amendment. There, you can put those conditions on during that vote of,
Okay.
we want to remove D, or we want to add the word buildings to C.
The problem is they don't want to give you the 25%
Right.
is what they're trying to get at.
Okay.
Some of our other
They're thinking about giving you like
also-
5, maybe
But
7%.
Yeah, I think.
Not that big of a percentage. Is what
Okay.
they're- Is what they're stressing,
Okay.
just to make it more simple. Do you have a problem with that?
I think
That's what they're asking.
I'm not picking up the question, but
Okay, so it's like A, let's just take as an example. A.
okay.
So reduce the minimum lot size, width, depth, or any setback up to, it says 20%. Well, 20% is the maximum that you have on this, and like I would be, if that was to happen, I'm not really comfortable with 20%, but I'd be more comfortable with 10%. So change that to 10%.
So what I'm hearing Dustin saying is when this goes up for vote, we would have it in this current format, and someone would make a motion that says, okay, I make a motion to approve this with this condition, and we would go through each one of those, and then someone would second, and we would vote for that. So even though in its current status.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So do we need to have any more discussion on this particular item here on the bench? Or can we
Go to the
now
next
move
one.
this to,
So would you rather us vote it all, most of it's gonna get voted down? Or would you be better off to go back with a different percentage?
I think I would prefer a vote on each item, even though it's gonna get shut down. I'm okay with that.
So you don't wanna try to negotiate? Now, that's what we're asking.
In its finality, I'm not the one making the decision. It's you guys.
well, there's no vote tonight.
We're gonna table it.
This is just discussion.
Okay.
The only motion that we have is to put this in front of public forum. Yeah.
In its existing form.
So do you want us to make that motion for each one of these, or as we go through each table here?
We can just do a vote for all of them at the end. Yeah, say, hey, we want to have a public hearing on, the September or October meeting, whatever.
Let them handle, they don't wanna know.
Yeah.
Because somebody's gonna
You
get
know,
shot.
going to 6 to 8, that's like 35%.
I mean, when the city sees this, they're gonna have. I'm just telling you right now, they're gonna have. You ain't got a big enough building for everybody to go.
By a lot of the people that come in here, I don't know that I agree with you.
I promise you. Put it out there and see what
Are
happens.
you just talking about this one?
No, I'm talking about the whole.
The whole thing,
I
yeah.
mean, there's several of them
I mean-
that I'd be like right there with you.
You guys have never been here, well, I think you have, but I've been here when they feel this, that outside, and it is not fun.
But I think like the fence, that type of stuff.
And I agree with some of that stuff, but like, a lot of these other ones, man, the people are gonna go bananas.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you guys need to go back and look and really scratch your head and think about, and not just throw that stuff out there.
Yeah,
I
you
mean, I
know,
don't mind like giving 5%, some small percentages like that. But when you go to talking about 20% of a pretty good size, that gets really big. It needs to come in here. If they want to go 5% bigger, I'm fine. We need to, be lenient, on 4 or 5%. I'm game for that. 20% gets pretty big. 10% is pretty big.
Okay.
Then some of it you got 25.
Yeah.
Very big number.
Like the signs out on the highway, that we've been sign Nazis for so long, which I understand it's coming, we're gonna get it, but I think we need to be a little more, hey, you need to come in here and visit about it and make them think about it, how they're gonna do it, not just run out there and throw signs up. That's why Kechi stayed small, which I understand you guys want it to grow. We all want it to grow. But we want it to grow at a gradual pace, so whoever does come, they really want it to come. not just blow in and blow out.
Well, I just don't wanna do stuff just because somebody else is.
Yeah.
That to me is. There's just, it's not like people are, in a line every day wanting to get, increase their, one of these items here, they're trying to do that. You see what I'm saying? It's not like we have a problem now. We don't have a problem. There's no problem. All we're trying to do is keep up with Park City and Bel Air and be like they are. And there's no need for that.
All right, let's move on to the highway corridor signage.
Mhm.
Okay. The highway corridor signage on, for proposed would be an adjustment to 8.11.c.5c. Maximum sign area shall be limited to 200 square feet allowed, in addition to maximum aggregate sign area limits, and a maximum sign height shall be 85 feet instead of the 35. And we can put that within 1,000 feet of that overpass there at Woodlawn. Add that on there, so that way we don't have 80-foot 5 signs all the way across the corridor itself.
So the maximum height allowed right now is 35 feet,
Yes,
and you wanna go how big?
85 right next to that overpass.
I thought we already did that.
You did for one company, yes.
And can you remind us what height that one was approved for?
85.
85,
85 feet.
That one was 85.
yeah,
Cases.
for Casey's.
And I think that we should, if somebody else wants to come up and they want to put another sign that's 85 feet somewhere, we need to address it. You don't just blanket that.
It's not blanketed. It would be within 1,000 feet of that overpass.
Right, so we need to talk about it.
I'd also say those are few and far between that would be coming in front of us.
That's right. Yeah, it's not like people are standing out in line, waiting in line to get to do this.
And someone
Because they're
trying
not.
to put in 85 foot feet is definitely doing due diligence, and there's a ton, there isn't something like the 8 6 foot fence. There's
Right.
not the urgency there.
Right.
And I've got a little bit of a question. I'm radio operator, we get into a lot of rules and regulations on what we can put up for antennas.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them that we have to deal with, particularly if you have a smaller lot in town, if your tower should fall, anything that goes up, one day, sooner or later, will come down.
Yep.
It cannot fall off your property. It can't, say hit a neighbor's house or fence or anything, or in our case, maybe the road. I'd kind of like to see something in here regarding more on the positioning of it, if you do approve it.
Well, and I would say that we would definitely go through all of that when someone applies for this, right? Then we would go through it
Okay.
and talk about it, see where it's gonna go, exactly. I mean, that's one of those things that you don't just blanketly just write it up and say, okay, anybody come out here within 1,000 feet and put up an 85 foot sign. No.
It's got 200 square feet on top of it. That can be quite a window.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion on that item?
Okay. Not for me.
All right. Next item, Plan Development Overlay District.
Okay. So I'm just going to start at the top here. I'll read it. This floating district is intended to offer flexibility in tailoring land uses, site design, and aesthetic controls when other zoning districts may not provide adequate means to regulate mixed-use developments. Develop properties with atypical characteristics, maximize compatibility between adjacent land uses, or preserve the character and integrity of unified developments in special areas. Below is a recommendation to the Kechi zoning, Kechi's code. The existing code has that a PDO may be used in conjunction with any base zoning district except A1 and RR, which are basically the same. It's agricultural zoning district or rural residential. If you go down to number 2A, this highlighted area, PDO zoning shall not allow any use prohibited within the base district. That line right there in particular kills what the PDO section is all about. It just says you can't overlap zoning districts. If something is not allowed in one, it's not allowed in the other. So it basically nullifies the whole section. Going on to the next page back there, the proposed recommendations would be to remove except A1 and RR and remove that first line from 2A. PDO zoning shall not allow any use prohibited within the base district, which would essentially let the PDO zoning district function correctly.
So do we have any examples where that isn't working today? Like we've run into a.
We have someone looking to move into a house, but wants to run a business out of that house. And to do so, that property needs to be, it's classified as a showroom because they want to sell fireplaces in there. Well, the person wants to, when they are done with that house, they want to sell it as a house, not a business or anything else. So the most intense zoning district has to be the underlying, it has to be the base district. C3 does not allow R1, which would be the top layer of that. So a PDO will not work in that instance. And with the C1 district, there should be more PDO districts in this area. And PDOs are meant to make certain properties work better with the surrounding properties that they're next to. So that's the only example that I have so far. But that one sentence there has been stopping PDOs from working for a while.
Isn't that what I can't remember what the name of that district is that we put right here?
The arts
and business district.
Yeah. That's the C1. That's where a lot of PDO zoning should be going per the, oh my gosh, comprehensive plan.
Right,
Yeah,
and you can do that,
no,
right?
Why?
that line right there says that you cannot use a PDO, basically.
Well, okay, so I'm concerned, okay, PDO. What, in the arts and business district, you have houses, that the people live there, and then it's also a business.
Mhm.
So, what is the difference here between this, I don't understand, PDO? What's the difference?
Yeah, for a while. What's the difference on what, Cheryl?
Between, I mean, that sounds like to me what you were explaining, somebody that living in a house and then they want to use part of it to display fireplaces. What's the, if you live down here, you can do that, in the
No.
arts and business district.
No,
Not with this line. I think what's happened is as in review of these, that line was discovered. It counteracts things that's been allowed.
Oh, so that's not, we're not gonna allow that? Is that what you're saying? We're not gonna allow,
That's the way with this line in here, that states it should not be allowed. That's what they wanna do, is remove that line, so that what's going on goes along with what's in our regs.
now would that
Explaining
affect
it right?
other areas? Like, like where I live, right? So you can't do that. You can't live in the house and then use my garage for a beauty salon, right? Like they used to do back in the day, right? So,
That would be under home occupations, and a beauty salon might fit in there as long as it doesn't take 25% of your house.
but I
To-
don't
to
live
run
in the
that.
arts and business district.
Right, but you
So-
can still have a home occupation.
Then what's the difference between how it's zoned?
Let me go back to the current,
Right, in this,
the current
I
example
understand.
that I used about the showroom.
Uh-huh.
Nobody's gonna live in that house at all. It's not gonna be used for a house, it's gonna be used for a showroom. Nothing more, nothing less. When he's done with it,
Oh,
and he builds another shop, hopefully in Kechi or somewhere else, when he moves out, he wants to sell it as a house.
Well, what is the area zoned for?
The area around it and it itself are zoned as R1.
So you can't do that.
With a
You can't just
PDO,
zone
you
it.
can.
How could you do that?
By combining two zoning districts together.
I'm just curious what precipitated, why would he want to do that? He just happened to already own the house and wanted to make use of it?
Yep.
It's the little house right across the road. But they went in, fixed it up, cleaned it up.
Oh, that little white one?
No,
It's up on the
no.
hill, it's over by me.
Oh,
It's right catty corner from my big one. It's to the east of it.
so we're saying that if we do this, right, then anybody in Kechi,
No,
anybody
not, go ahead.
could, like I could do, I could say, oh, I don't want to live in my house anymore. I want to run movies out of it
Okay.
and have like a little movie theater. As I'm going to turn my house into a movie theater.
Okay.
I could do
What's
that.
your question? This
Would
is
this
not my
apply?
question that I'm
No, I
hearing.
mean I could do that.
No.
Well, what's the difference here?
Let me back up so that way you're informed. A PDO still has to be granted. It's like a zoning change. It has to go before planning commission and it has to go before council. So council ultimately would have to approve whether a showroom went into this house or not.
Mhm.
You wanting to throw up, Warren Kechi
Mhm.
would have to go through here and council.
Mhm.
It's not automatic. It's not anybody can do it. You have to get permission, just like a zoning change.
Right,
Does that make sense?
and that's what he's trying to do.
He will still have to,
He still has to
Still
go
has to
through
come
planning
through
commission and city council. He has to take the regular steps.
Right.
Are you still confused?
No, I got that. I just don't understand you're talking about laying over zonings, and that to me is confusing.
Okay.
So, I mean, so what he's wanting to do is have R1 and, what did you say, C3?
Yes.
So, and that C3 would just be his house, his property?
Yes.
Or would that, no, just be
Yes.
his
You
property?
can only rezone your own property.
So,
and he would still have to come in here and file the paperwork and still be seen and have a case.
so can he
Right.
come in and get a conditional use?
No.
Why?
I would like for him to, but he can't. You can't do a conditional use on a zoning. Trust me, I've gone back and forth with it. I have dug and I've asked other cities, can you do a conditional use for somebody to move in or not move in, but take over a property, zone it something, and then when they move out, it goes back to what it was. That would solve everything, and I'd be happy with that.
No, but if we put it in the arts and business district, it won't work.
No, showrooms are not allowed in a C1 district. In the business, it falls under a showroom.
Can we put a conditional use? Yeah, we should be able to put a conditional use under that.
Showrooms are not allowed, not allowed at all.
I understand, but we could come in, make a conditional use, when he's done with it, then it goes back to her. Then he loses it once he's done with it.
We can't.
Well, if they're not allowed in the arts and business district, then they shouldn't be allowed over there. Right? I mean,
Just to
they're
be
just
clear,
not allowed, right?
we
That's what you're
believe,
saying, is they're not allowed.
What is not allowed? What are you talking about?
The showroom, that's what he's got, that's what he wants to have, is a showroom. And you
Okay.
just said that they are not allowed. He asked you about the
Not
arts and
allowed
business.
where?
it's not allowed in the arts.
The arts and business district,
Right. It's not zoned arts and business district. It's zoned as R1.
But it could be zoned arts and business district, correct?
It's outside of the arts and business district.
But it can
And
still be zoned arts and business district.
Change.
I mean, stranger things have happened at this commission, so yeah.
Yeah, and then we could put him a conditional use and then everything's out.
A showroom is not allowed in a
We
C1.
can allow him, we can.
No, you
give him
can't.
a conditional
If it's not allowed, it's not allowed.
They would have to change the zoning regs
You'd
to
have
put
to-
it in as an allowable.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to change what can go in C1, yes. But making a conditional use or making it a conditional use is changing what can go into a C1, then yes, that could happen. But he would have to apply for a zone change and a conditional use. When all he would have to do right now is just apply for a PDO.
And sorry, Sheriff, I was talking a little bit earlier.
no problem.
So 2A, that first sentence,
Yes,
staff believes that that is a clerical error typo situation.
yes.
Okay.
Because the way it's written now is
They're countering
you put it,
each other.
yes, yeah. You can't put C3 with R1 on top of it because C3 does not allow for residential uses and R1 does not allow for showrooms. So you can't put them up there. You have to find matching zoning districts, which they're all different. They're not allowed. So yes, it contradicts the whole section and the whole idea of a PDO, a plan development overlay.
Why was that put in there?
No idea
Don't you think we ought to find out?
how.
I'm pretty sure the people that did this are probably still around here. I would ask them.
There were a lot of people who got put into this, that put work into it.
Okay, so amendment to Kechi zoning code,
So what can we do to get
who did that?
the guy that's doing all this to come to visit us?
The guy that did,
That's putting all these numbers and all that stuff together?
PEC.
oh, PEC? I just have to ask him.
That would probably be best.
Okay.
Yeah, let's start with that.
That way they could answer our questions and
Justin, do you think that that is something we can get on the agenda for next month? I don't know how much.
I don't know what their schedule is, but I can definitely ask. Yeah, that's no problem at all.
And this was the last one, right? So over this evening.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then I would say that we hold off on adding anything to a meeting until we've had that discussion.
I agree.
What is your extra pickle?
Take it.
Wine and Coke, please?
Yeah.
I prefer cherry Coke instead of vanilla Coke.
Oh,
I just
vanilla
asked you
Coke.
the same thing.
I like the vanilla Coke, that reminded me, it's like, oh, Sonic Run.
Add a little cherry to it. Let's go. I'm driving.
Yeah.
Down here at the bottom.
Last page.
Number two.
It must have been
More
taken
than
in
extra,
order.
number two with extra pickle, medium fry on the Yes.
All right. Okay, anything else on 10A? All right, and our unfinished business is still unfinished, correct? Sorry, B and C, items B and C.
Yes.
All right, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I saw move.
Second?
All right, motion by Oscar, second by Frank.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, yes, sorry, thank you. All in favor, say aye. 4-0, thank you.
Back to number two.